From Electrician to Airbnb success, my $0 to $2 million plus journey. We built and sold a 60 plus Airbnb property portfolio, generating over $2.5 million in bookings in 2023 alone. I'm Nathan, and 3 years ago, I had nothing. At 27 years old, I'd worked my entire life. Electrician, door-to-door sales, underground tunnels, but completely directionless. Living in a share house, going out partying 3-4 nights a week, just to feel like I was doing something with my life. Fast forward 3 years, 60 plus properties under management, over $2.5 million in annual bookings in 2023 alone. We sold our business profitably to a larger real estate company. And here's the thing, I started with 0 properties of my own, 0 experience in the industry, and less than $1,000 to get started. This is exactly how I got started. And by the end of this video, you'll understand the exact model we used and why it works even if you don't own any properties. My name's Nathan, and if you're watching this, you're probably in a similar spot to where I was. Maybe you're working a job that pays the bills but doesn't really excite you. Maybe you've tried a bunch of side hustles that went nowhere, and maybe you're just stuck. If you're a real estate agent looking for better margins, if you're an Airbnb host with 1 or 2 properties who can't figure out how to scale beyond managing your own listings, or if you're someone in a 9 to 5 who knows there has to be something more, some other way to build real wealth without investing a massive amount of capital or waiting 20 years. This video is for you. I get it, because that was me, exactly where you are. I grew up in a small town south of Perth, Western Australia. My dad owned a welding company, so I figured I would just become a tradesman. Didn't take school seriously. Why bother if I'm just going to work with my hands anyway? That mindset, biggest mistake of my life, and I'm going to show you exactly how I went from that dead-end thinking to building a business that completely changed my life. Now, before I get into the full story, if you're serious about understanding how to build an Airbnb management business without owning properties, I've put together a free strategy session for you, where we map out your first 90 days step by step. There'll be a link in the description. But stick with me here, because the next part is where everything clicked for me. And it might just click for you too, the backstory. 2 weeks after finishing school, my dad woke me up at 5 a.m. He said, "You're coming to work with me." I told him I'm having a gap year. He said, "Like hell you are." So I started as a boilermaker's assistant. 6 a.m. starts, 40-degree heat, that's 100 degrees plus in Fahrenheit. Heavy protective gear, brutal work. The guys I worked with, burnouts, drug addicts, they all told me the same thing. Don't do this, go be an electrician. I got the electrician apprenticeships after months of rejection, finished my 4 years, but then looked around and thought, where's the upward mobility? I'd be on the same level as guys who were 25, 35, even 50 years old. Leading hand at 30, maybe supervisor at 50. I fell into monotony, working hard, long hours, going out 3-4 nights a week, burning the candle at both ends, completely stuck. Sound familiar? That's the same place a lot of our clients were before they found this model, the false starts. I tried everything to escape. A friend's app startup in 2015 could have been massive. Instead, he blew through hundreds of thousands of dollars and eventually ended up in jail. My dad's business got undermined by shady contractor deals, and he lost most of his retirement nest egg. That was the catalyst. At 22, I packed everything into my car and moved across the country to Sydney, alone. Crypto, e-commerce, lead generation, none of it really worked out. In 2019, I got a job building a road tunnel underground, 70+ hour weeks. Only saw the sun 1 day a week, burning out hard. And here's why I'm telling you this. If you tried things that didn't work out, if you feel like you're behind, if you're wondering if you're even capable of success, I was you, exactly where you are. And that's not a weakness, it's actually the perfect starting point. Because when you finally find something that works, you'll have the work ethic and resilience to actually execute it. COVID, chaos, and the breakthrough. The tunnel project finished at the start of 2020. I planned to travel Australia. The day I finished, everything shut for COVID. I took 5 to 6 months off, tried learning more skills, online business, etc. Nothing really stuck. Then at the start of 2021, I got a contract to fit out the electrics on 120 units in Bondi with a mate. We were making good money. We had 3 or 4 employees. Finally, it felt like we were building something. Then another COVID wave hit. Lockdowns, restrictions, couldn't go to work. Eventually, I'd had enough. One of my best mates was getting married in Perth. I was supposed to be the groomsman, but I couldn't get there from the red zone Sydney. So I decided I'm jumping the border. I then drove 800 kilometers to the border at 5 a.m. Total blockade. Police, military checkpoints. Long story short, I organized a tow truck to get my car across state lines. I messaged a guy I'd met once at a networking event. He put me in touch with another guy who lived on the border. Got the instructions of how to get across without getting caught, and at 5 a.m. I jogged across the border in running gear. Walked for over an hour, then Ubered to get my car. When I got to Surfers Paradise, it was like COVID didn't even exist. I sat down at a cafe and had breakfast, something I'd not been able to do in 6 months. Smiling ear to ear. The guy that helped me, Aaron, we met up that night, become fast friends. He got me an interview doing sales at a company at his co-working space that ran an Airbnb consulting service. I got the job. And for the next 6 months, I had thousands of conversations with Airbnb hosts from all over the world. I learned everything, the good, the bad, and the money people were making, the struggles they had, the systems that worked, and more importantly, the systems that didn't work. And here's what I realized. 80% of the people making serious money weren't smart or exceptional. They weren't special. They just bought properties before the boom. And that was the only difference. They had capital, I didn't. But I had something else. I understood the business better than they did. I'd spoken to thousands of hosts. I knew what worked, and I knew I could do this. Remember, we started with less than $1,000 invested. No properties, no real estate experience, but I was about to build a business that would generate over $2.5 million in annual bookings. And here's exactly how. This is where I'm about to break down exactly how we built this business from zero, the model we used, the systems we created, the mistakes we made so you don't have to. If you want to skip ahead to implementation and get the complete roadmap, we've put everything on our website. It covers what I'm about to share, plus the exact frameworks we use to scale. Link will be in the description. But stay with me here, because understanding how we did this will completely change how you think about building wealth in real estate. Building the business part 1, the model. So I started trying to get my own clients. I was cold messaging hosts on Airbnb, Facebook groups, offering back-end services, pricing optimization, marketing, guest management. Not much success initially. One day, Aaron and I were driving to a networking dinner in Brisbane, about an hour and a half drive, and I asked him, do you want to partner with me on this? He had marketing experience, I had sales skills and deep Airbnb knowledge from working in the industry. We shook hands that night. By Monday, we had a website and some ads running. Within the first week, 10 leads. One of them was a famous Australian rules football player, multi-million-dollar property. We knew we'd hit something. Now, here's what separates us from the rental arbitrage gurus you've probably seen on YouTube. We use the property management model. We didn't own the properties, we didn't sign risky leases, and we didn't take on debt to furnish apartments we didn't own. We managed properties for owners and took 20% of the booking revenue. Let me explain why this model is so powerful. Number 1, it's low risk for us. If bookings slow down, we're not on the hook for these lease payments. The owner owns the properties, we just manage it. Our income goes down, sure, but we're not bleeding money on fixed costs. Number 2, low upfront costs. We were starting with under $1,000. A simple website, some good ads, that's it. No furniture, no deposits, no massive capital requirements. Number 3, scalable. Adding properties didn't require us to raise more capital. We weren't limited by how much cash we had in the bank. We were only limited by how many clients we could serve well. Number 4, sellable. This is huge. We built an actual asset, a business with recurring revenue, systems, and a client base. When we sold, we got multiples on our annual revenue. That doesn't happen with rental arbitrage. Remember, I started with nothing. No properties, no experience, no capital. This model made it possible. If I had gone down the rental arbitrage route, I would have needed tens of thousands of dollars just to get started. And I would have been stuck managing 5 to 10 properties max before hitting a capital wall and maxing out my risk tolerance. This model, completely different game. Building the business, part 2, execution. So we had the model. Now we needed to execute. And execution is where most people fail. We obsessed over the details. Professional photography for every listing. Not just decent photos, professional. Because the difference between a 3-star photo and a 5-star photo is the difference between a 40% booking rate and an 80+% booking rate. We used advanced pricing strategies. Not just dynamic pricing tools like Price Labs or Beyond Pricing, but we also scientifically adjusted pricing based on local events, seasonality, and market analysis. This is where our revenue optimization background from the industry I'd just been working in came in handy. We treated every property like a hotel room, maxing out our RevPAR, revenue per available room, which we can discuss in another video. Owners were seeing a 30 to 70% plus increase in their revenue compared to what they were making before. Some even more. Perfect listing descriptions. We didn't just describe the property, we sold the experience. We wrote copy that converted people from looking to actually booking. But here's where we really differentiated ourselves, our systems. We built automated guest messaging for 80 to 90% of common inquiries. Check-in instructions, automated. automated. Wi-Fi password, automated. Local recommendations, automated. We created cleaning schedules and maintenance protocols, so nothing ever fell through the cracks. We had checklists for everything. Property onboarding, guest check-in, turnover, maintenance requests, everything. We weren't winging it. We were building a real scalable business. And it started working. Properties we managed were consistently outperforming the market. Owners were blown away. They'd tell their friends. Referrals started coming in. We hit 5 properties in the first couple months, then 10, then 20. By our first summer peak season, we were managing just under 30 properties, all in under 6 months. At that point, we knew we needed to scale the team. We couldn't do everything ourselves anymore. We hired property managers, cleaners, revenue optimization specialists, customer service reps. We built the team, we built the systems, we built a real business. We become Airbnb superhosts across our entire portfolio. Booking.com preferred partners, which means we got priority placement in search results. And we were one of Australia's first exclusive partners for Marriott's Homes and Villas platform, one of the most prestigious short-term rental platforms in the world. We even gave a presentation at a property investment convention exhibiting our business model to hundreds of investors who were curious about the management model. By the time we'd sold, we'd had managed over 60 properties with about 32 permanent clients, over $2.5 million in annual bookings in 2023 alone, in one of the most competitive holiday rental locations in Australia. We built it from zero. No properties, no experience, just systems, execution, and a willingness to learn every single day. Think about where I started. 27 years old, directionless, working underground in a tunnel, 70+ hour weeks. 3 years later, built and sold a multi-million-dollar business. And the model we used, it's more accessible than you think. Eventually, a large real estate company approached us about buying the business. They saw what we'd built, the systems, the client relationships, the track records, the recurring revenue, and they wanted it. We sold. And it was life-changing. But here's what I want you to understand. You don't need to own property to build wealth in this industry. The management model, taking 20 to 25% of booking revenue. It's low risk, more scalable, and gives you control without massive capital requirements. Systems are everything. You can't scale if you're doing everything yourself. Automation, checklists, clear processes. That's what turns a side hustle into a real business, worth selling. Most people making money in Airbnb aren't exceptional. They just have the right information and the willingness to execute. That's it. I spent years feeling stuck, jumping from one thing to the next, always working hard, but never getting ahead. The difference with this business, it was scalable, it was repeatable, and it wasn't dependent on me doing everything myself. That's what made it sellable. That's what made it valuable. And that's what I wish someone had told me earlier. You don't need a revolutionary idea, $1 million, or some special talent. You just need a solid model and the discipline to build it properly. If you're still watching this and you're stuck like I was, maybe you're in the trades or a 9 to 5 that doesn't excite you, or you've tried things that didn't really work out, I want you to know that there is a path forward. It's not easy, it requires work, real work, but it's doable, and you don't have to figure it out alone. Here's what I want you to do right now. We've taken everything we've learned, the exact systems, the client acquisition strategies, the automation frameworks, the mistakes we made so you don't have to, and we put it into a mentorship program. We work directly with people who are serious about building this business. Real estate agents who want better margins and recurring revenue, Airbnb hosts who want to scale beyond their own properties, people stuck in 9 to 5 who are ready to build something real. If that's you, click the link below and book a free strategy call with our team. We'll map out your first 90 days. We'll analyze your specific market, and we'll show you exactly how this model can work for you. Whether you're in Australia, the US, Europe, or anywhere else. We only take on 10 strategy calls per week because we actually want to help, not just sell. So if you're serious about this, don't wait. Click the link in the description to book your call. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to hear my story, and if you got some value from this, hit subscribe. I'll be sharing a lot more about what actually works in this industry. The systems, the strategies, the real talk about building a business, not just a side hustle. I'll see you in the next one.